Everyone, so today I'm going to talk about fairness and unfairness. Now, what exactly is fairness? So, you must have observed a lot of times when you're walking on the road and there is a green light for you, so you are crossing the road now. But there comes a car out of nowhere and it goes past you, and you are like, come on dude, I had a green signal and I was walking. You're not supposed to drive that way. That is one instance. Another, let's say you are making job applications and you are getting a reply as, unfortunately we are not selecting you. So you feel unfair over there, because come on, you have put all your heart and soul into making that application, and you are expecting a call back from them and a job ultimately, because that's the reason why you applied. You did not apply to get a feedback like, unfortunately we are not selecting you. But it is also a part of the game. But that's that. And there can be many such examples. Or let's say you are dating someone, it's going well, you are investing a lot, you are doing things for them, and there comes a point where they are like, I'm not feeling it, and slowly and gradually it breaks, and let's just say they dump you. And that's where it feels very heartbreaking, when you're like, I did not deserve this. Like, come on, I gave my everything for this relationship. Like, how could you do this to me? Or, all of those things. Those 5 stages a person goes through, stages of grief. So, yeah, it all comes from unfairness. Now, what is unfairness? So, unfairness, if I have to define, it's literally when you have invested into something, and when you are investing, the very basic expectation is there has to be some return. It's literally like a transaction, I feel, because when you are investing, you are expecting some return. When you go to a shop, you go to buy something, you get that thing, you pay. It's a transaction that's happening. You have invested your money, the person has returned that investment in terms of the product that you wanted. Simple. But if at all the shopkeeper says that I'm keeping the money, which doesn't happen, but I'm keeping the money and I'm not giving you the product, you will get angry. You will get, you'll start to question him that you cannot do this, because all of this comes from unfairness. Now that I am investing something, now that I am doing something, now that I am at least following the law when I am crossing the road, since I am being fair with the law, I am expecting that people would be fair to me. Since I am paying money, the basic expectation that I have is the shopkeeper will give me the product. It's a fair transaction that's happening. And I know that there is a very valid thing that is said that, love is unconditional. There is no expectations in love. But come on, we are humans. When we were born, we were brought up in a certain way. So everyone has a certain kind of upbringing, certain experiences that we go through, because of which we feel full at certain areas, we feel empty in certain areas on an emotional level, okay? And when we, now I'm going towards psychology here, but I'll try to keep this very short. But yeah, I mean, when you say that you fall in love with someone, it's because that person is filling that certain level of void that's there in you, and you are also trying to fill that level of void that's there in them. Because trust me, no matter how healthy your parenting has been, there are still some areas that would have not been fulfilled, and that's just how it is, okay? I mean, that's just part of life. That's just how we all experience life. And when I gave the example of the partner dumping you, then I think you feel unfair, because you tried your best to do everything, and even then there was a point when the partner decided that no, you were not the right one for them, and you feel unfair there. But you also have to think here from this perspective that maybe what they were doing, what they were giving, maybe that was the best that they could. I know it might not relate completely to you, that okay, how can this be their best if I feel unfair, if it feels unfair to me? Well, it is what it is now. I mean, since we all are born and brought up in a very different construct, We have our own limitations, we have our own way of expressing. So it's just how life is, and I think that's what unfairness is. Now I'll come back to the main topic again. I had kind of pivoted to the a different area, but it's fine as long as it is supporting the main idea. So yeah, more or less, that's what fairness and unfairness is in our lives. The least we want is we want people to be fair to us because we feel we are being fair to them. That's what we feel, right? And I think everyone feels that way because more or less we don't remember those times when we were unfair to someone or when we have been unfair to some law. No matter how good of a person you are, there would have been at least once. Okay, I say at least once. That's still a very extreme probability that I am giving, but let's just say at least once when you have broken the law, when someone else would have felt that this is unfair, I am following the law, how can this person break the law? Maybe you were in a hurry and you just jumped a signal while everyone else was waiting, while there was a cop standing there. He would have felt unfair that I am doing my job diligently and this person is just jumping the signal right in front of me and I don't like that. Maybe you would have got away with that. You wouldn't have even realized that you did something that. Maybe you did it deliberately because you were in a hurry, or maybe you would have not even recognized that there was a signal there. It's possible. So it's just that, I mean, at times we feel that we are fair to this world, but there are so many times when we are unfair and we do not really recognize those things because, come on, as humans we want to see ourselves in very good picture. So it's very rare that we would recognize our shortcomings, we would recognize the times we have been unfair, and it requires certain level of wow, that word itself is very interesting. Metacognition. It requires certain level of metacognition wherein you sit with yourself, you think about what you are thinking, you think about what you have done, and maybe you ask questions to yourself. Was it right? Was it fair? Was it fair to you? Was it fair to the other person? And all those things. So yeah, I feel that's how fairness and unfairness works. And I think this topic can go on and on, okay? I mean, I don't think there is much of an end to this topic because you can come up with examples for this. You can come up with various things. Like if I take an example of a job application, you are applying, and I think I did talk about this example earlier as well, but if I have to add some more nuance to this, then let's say you have applied to a job and you got rejected. You get that very cliched mail that unfortunately the other candidates were much better, and so like we are going ahead with them. While you may feel that this is unfair on your part because you were interested, you gave everything, and the least that you were expecting in return was a job, but all you got was rejection mail. But while it is unfair for you, the process was fair to someone. Now that person would have got a job, and I don't know what that person's credentials were, no one knows, okay, but let's just say it worked for them. And there are many such instances where we feel unfair, where we feel it's fair. When things go well for us, we feel that we deserved it and it was fair for us. But when things don't go as planned, we feel that okay, life is unfair to us. So I think it's a very normal way of thinking. But I think all this fairness, unfairness, the anger that comes because of it, it comes because we have those expectations that if I am being fair, the least that I expect is the world to be fair to me. If I am making an application, the least I expect is I get a job, right? So there is that underlying expectation that you have. And in spiritual sense, in psychological sense, this is very well established that one should not have expectations. Live a life without expectations and you will be happy. And it's very necessary. But come on, we are humans. we do things because we want certain things in return, and so expectation is there. I don't know how and exactly when we, or like as individuals, when we will reach to a point where we don't have expectations at all. We just do the things because we love doing that. We do it for the love of the game. That would be a great day, but unfortunately that day is not today. That day wasn't even yesterday. So yeah, we might feel unfair, we might feel dejected, we might feel that okay, we have been you know played with, let's say that way. And it is all normal, it is all very normal. And I think that's what the whole video is about, that unfairness is very normal. But if at all something has been unfair to you, then that exactly something has been fair to someone else, something else. And maybe the only thing that you can control is, no matter what, no matter how fair or unfair things are, you keep moving. Okay, because that's what you can do, that's what you have in your control, that's what is something that you are good at, is how I would say it. So you might as well do that. Keep moving. Even if something is fair, you keep moving. Even if that car like drove past you while you were crossing the road, when it was a green signal for you, you did not stop there, right? You still crossed the road, you kept moving. So that's just how it is. You keep moving no matter how fair life is. You enjoy when it is fair, you celebrate it, let's just say. And when life is unfair, you feel bad, you acknowledge that, you process that, and you keep moving. Because as long as you are moving, you will reach your destination. You will reach somewhere at least. And even if that's not your destination, from that somewhere where you have reached, you can still find your way, you can still make your path, readjust, like they say, adjust your sails. You can't control the storm. So yeah, that storm is literally like unfairness, because when you are out there sailing, you are there for the fun, and you won't really expect that there would be storm, there would be rough seas, but that's part of it. And like they say, a good sailor is not the one who sails through the most calm seas. A good sailor is the one who sails through the most rough seas, who has greatest stories to tell, that there was once I was sailing through this path, and there was a tsunami, there was this, there was that, and this is how I sailed past that. So if at all you are going through something and you are feeling that okay, life is unfair to you, or something or someone is unfair to you, trust me, that's the best story of your life at this very moment. While you might not really acknowledge it now, and I understand that, okay, we all go through these rough stages and we grow through these rough stages. And I know it might sound that I'm preaching, but it's just how life is. And you always need someone to tell you this. And right now, if you are watching it till here, then maybe I am telling this to you, that if you are going through a rough sea, trust me, you are becoming a good sailor, and that's what matters. Because you are going to have a great story when you are done with your sailing, when you reach the shore, and that matters. So yeah, that's that.